Nani?
You serious?
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
On the ball.
A lot of us have different ways of coping with information we receive, right? And sometimes this information could be good. Sometimes this information could be not so great. This is one of those videos where I have to share information with you. Well, not so great, but we've been preparing, right? We've been actually talking about this topic for quite a few days and kind of been coping with the possibility of things going sideways or things not being completely accurate altogether. So we're talking about the Nintendo Direct and some information we received that, well, I know you as much as I saw this coming a mile away. So if you are new here, watch this clip. If not, use a timestamp below to go straight to the main topic. Before we get into this video, I would love to ask for your subscription, but not just ask, I will put in the work for you, because here we have Monday through Friday news every single day, Odyssey news, where we talk about everything inside the world of Nintendo. We have products and we have reviews. And other than that, in the personal side, I am a big advocate for disabilities because I myself am legally blind. My daughter has autism, so I am a big advocate for disabilities and people with autism as well. So if this sounds like a place you would love to subscribe to, I would love for you to be part of the family. Hit that subscribe button and that bell for notification and join our amazing family here at the Odyssey. Thank you in advance for your subscription, and let's get into the news. So just like our last video, it is a little too quiet in the world of Nintendo as we know it right now. It is quiet because, well, it is April, right? Nintendo has never gone a month in their life within the Nintendo Switch where they have been this quiet with no release, right? We know about Paper Mario, we know about Luigi's Mansion, and those are basically the very last games that they've announced. And so the second half of the year is completely quiet. So with this, we have the kind of intuition that Nintendo is preparing this type of presentation in order to go ahead and announce what they have plans for the second half of the year. And they normally do this, well, not very last minute, but within 2 or 3 months before their last game, which is Luigi's Mansion in June. So April is here. No plans for April on behalf of Nintendo. And so we thought Nintendo would actually give us this presentation. Not only that, but we had a source, a leaker, and even though this leaker is very brand new to the atmosphere of leakage, whatever you call it, I don't know what they call themselves, you know, well, they had some information to share with us quite a while ago. And the only reason that I believe that every content creator did cover it is because, well, they were the very first people to share that the Nintendo Switch 2 was delayed. And, well, right after that, everybody else jumped on that same ship, meaning every credible leaker jumped on the same exact ship, telling us that the Nintendo Switch 2 was pushed back to 2025. Now, I personally, you know that I've never jumped on that 2025 ship. I keep saying, nope, it's 2024. I don't think Nintendo has enough games to show us or plans to give us a Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025. I believe that information has been misinterpreted and maybe not well received because developers did not give us the full story on that, right? They were given a deadline of 2025, March of 2025, and that's all we know for sure that all of these developers have stated when it comes to Switch 2. My interpretation of that was that they were given a deadline to where they needed to submit their games in order to be considered a launch title for Switch 2. That means if we get a Nintendo Switch 2 in October, then November, December, will be the first 3 months. January, February, March will be the other 3 months, making the 6-month window for launch games on Nintendo Switch, which, by the way, if you release a game on Switch 2 within the first 6 months, that's considered a launch title, and Nintendo will use that game as part of their promotional material, right? If not, then you have to kind of fence for yourself and kind of invest in promoting your game. But that was a window for launch titles for Switch, and I believe that that rumor was about that and not really about a pushback, right? Now, with this said, this very same leaker went ahead and about, I would say maybe the next day, next week, was on an all-time high, I guess, and went ahead and divulged more information. We have a letter by the Brazil guy, the guy who leaked that the Nintendo Switch 2 was supposed to be delayed, and this is what he said. Hey, everyone. Didn't want to leave you hanging for the entire month, so here I am. You'll remember that the info I had back during the Switch 2 delay week was that we'd have a direct in April, an Indie World presentation prior to that. I had those talks a couple of days after the Switch 2 discussions, but now I believe that the event info itself was already outdated at that point. I no longer believe we'll get a direct this month. Apart from one person who heard some rumblings 2 weeks ago, no one else seems to have heard anything about an April direct since then, which they probably would have at this point. One source in particular that had talked about an April direct before is now expecting the next one to happen around the obvious Summer Game Fest time frame, so late May, early June. Edit. Maybe even this is wrong, but we will get PlayStation, Xbox events and time frame. At least, these events have been announced already. The Indie World seems to have been planned to be aired pre Game Developer Conference, but I guess all of those plans went out the window immediately as well. Anyway, that's it. The beauty of talking about planned events dates a month in advance. Haha. I'll catch flack for this, and that's all right, but hopefully that helps people settle back and enjoy the games coming out instead of getting anxious over more announcements for a while. Edit. Also, obligatory apologies to anyone who was already looking forward to this due to my earlier info. I've said this before. I only said anything because I was on cloud 9 that week, and I probably should have restrained myself. Ha ha. And so that is what this PH Brazil person mentioned. Now, like I stated before, I have never been on board with this. I've spoken about this in the possibility of having a April Direct or any type of presentation, just because April is completely empty. There's nothing before that. Next month we have Paper Mario, and then we have June for Luigi's Mansion, right? And so Nintendo normally announces games right before their last games in order to continue the trend and continue the promotional material moving forward, right? And so I've never been on board with the Nintendo Switch 2 delay either. And here we have this person stating they were on a high, cloud 9, because everybody picked up their delay predictions or whatever, their delay, Nintendo Switch 2 delay news, and backed it up. And so what they're saying is that, hey, I was on cloud 9 that week. I don't know what I was saying. I could have confirmed it more. I should have spoken to more people. This is just all, like I said, it's all like basically going back on their word and stating or trying to excuse some bad information they put out. And so with this, I am keen. Actually, you know what? I 100% believe that even the first information they received is not accurate as well. So I am the first one, I think, to let you guys know I don't believe the Switch 2 has been delayed. No, I don't. I don't believe it one bit. I think Nintendo is still working. I think Nintendo is on the verge of doing something, revealing something for the Switch 2. And this is the reason why we have nothing else for the rest of the year. for the second half of the year. Why? Because, well, the next half of the year, this is where we enter into the next fiscal year. This is a brand new fiscal year that begins in April and ends in March of next year. So this is the fiscal year in which we will see the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal and presentation. The last fiscal year is gone. That's the same one that President Shintaro Furukawa stated that they will not issue anything else but Nintendo content for that fiscal year, right? And so he was talking about that particular fiscal year because they will never talk about any fiscal years ahead of time, right? They will only speak on what they currently have planned, and not their current or their next fiscal year plan. So now that we are in a Nintendo fiscal year, so a fiscal year is Nintendo's way of keeping track of their years, right? They don't do January to December. They do financial fiscal years, and they always end for Nintendo in March and then begin in March. So April is the very first month of Nintendo's next fiscal year, which we are in now, and the silence we are getting could be very well be due to that, because this is a brand new fiscal year. Nintendo is right now, I'm pretty sure they have their plans already set out, and so we should be hearing from them at any moment, right? I'm not a leaker. This is me using common sense based on Nintendo's past. And so with this transition year into the next gen system, then I believe Nintendo is about to show us really good information, right? And so again, I was never on board with this person, PH Brazil, and I've always been skeptical of it. We've spoken about the fact of a presentation happening, whether it's a direct mini, or the next gen system happening very soon. And I am on board 100% with the system being revealed this very same year. And again, this is my own speculation. This is my own thought. This is my thought process and how I view things as a content creator. And you know, I'm using what I've known for the time frame that I've been doing this on YouTube, or as a journalist. I do have a minor in journalism, by the way. I know that a lot of people call themselves journalists nowadays, but I do have a minor in journalism. I majored in digital media and design and got a minor in journalism because I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Content creation. I wanted to talk about news. I wanted to have my own show, and so I wanted to be prepared and do things the right way, right? So far, this is the information we have, and I know it's not the best one, but as I always say, hey, don't worry. Right now we have Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, which is an amazing game. Luigi's Mansion HD, amazing game. And I wouldn't rule out a Nintendo Direct happening soon. And I wouldn't rule out anything just yet. This is the transition year, and Nintendo is basically out of script. They're away from their yearly script of this routine they've had throughout the life of the Nintendo Switch with the February, June, and September Direct, right? And well, we'll just have to wait and see. You just have to buckle up. It's a roller coaster. Well, we're in this together. And so in the meantime, we'll continue to provide you guys really good content here. And any questions you might have. Tonight, we have the podcast. We're going to be talking about this more in detail. So if you have any questions you want for us to answer directly to you, tune into our podcast, a live podcast tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time here on the channel. So set your subscription, set your reminder, and be there in our podcast so we can discuss this a little more in detail. And you can hear not only about my opinion, but you'll hear our crew's opinion, because we have a really good crew together, and we'll talk about this more in depth. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, for giving me your day, because guess what? Out of your day, you chose to be here, and I really appreciate that. You guys mean the world to me. I'll see you in the next one. Before I let you go, never ever give up and journey on. Peace.